This is a testimony I was afraid to tell. For years I kept the story to myself because I didn't want anyone to know how deep the darkness had gotten. But God told me it's time because someone else's freedom is connected to this testimony. I never knew I was in a spiritual battle until the battle started fighting back. I thought I was just tired. I thought I was just stressed. I thought life was just life. But what I didn't know was that the enemy had been studying me, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And when he did, everything in my life began to fall apart at the same time. This is my story, how God pulled me out of a darkness I didn't even realize I was living in. I grew up in church. I knew the songs. I knew the scriptures. I knew how to look saved, but I didn't know spiritual warfare. I didn't know open doors. I didn't know the enemy could legally attack you when you don't know who you are. In my 20s, I started drifting, not intentionally, just slowly. I stopped praying consistently. I stopped fasting. I stopped guarding my heart. I started entertaining relationships I had no business being in. And I told myself, it's not that deep. But it was that deep. I didn't realize that every compromise was a crack in the door. Every emotional wound was an entry point. Every unhealed place was a landing strip for the enemy. I was functioning, but empty. Smiling, but broken. Serving, but spiritually weak. And the enemy loves a believer who looks strong on the outside, but is unprotected on the inside. You see, it started with my sleep. Night after night, I had dreams that felt too real. Dark figures, choking sensations, running but not moving, waking up exhausted like I had been fighting all night. Then my relationship started to fall apart. People I loved turned cold. Arguments came out of nowhere. Misunderstandings multiplied. Isolation wrapped around me like a blanket. Then came the mental warfare. Thoughts that weren't mine. Whispers of failure. Whispers of fear. Whispers of suicide. Whispers telling me I wasn't enough. That God wasn't listening. That I was alone. And the worst part, I started believing them. My body felt heavy. My spirit felt numb. My joy disappeared. My peace evaporated. I was functioning, but barely. I didn't know it then, but I was under spiritual attack. And the enemy wasn't hiding anymore. He was bold. So one night, everything came crashing down. I was sitting on the edge of my bed, crying for reasons I couldn't even explain. My heart, my chest felt tight. My mind felt loud. My spirit felt empty. And I whispered, God, where are you? And for the first time in my life, I felt absolutely nothing. That scared me more than the dreams, more than the heaviness, more than the confusion. I felt disconnected from the one I had always known. That night I had a dream, but it wasn't like the others. This time I saw myself standing in a dark room. Chains were wrapped around my arms and legs. And I heard a voice say, this is what happens when you stop fighting. I woke up shaking. I knew this wasn't just stress. This wasn't just life. This was spiritual. And I needed help. I reached out to a woman from my church, someone who carried real spiritual authority. I told her everything that I had been going through. the dreams, the heaviness, the confusion, the fear. And she didn't judge me. She didn't look surprised. She simply said, the enemy has been attacking you because you stopped guarding your gates. But today we take your life back. So we prayed, we worshiped, we renounced things that I didn't even realize I had agreed with. I broke soul ties, I broke word curses, I broke agreements with fear, rejection, and shame. I repented for doors I had opened knowingly and unknowingly. And then something shifted. As she prayed, I felt a pressure lift off of my chest. My breathing changed. My mind cleared. My body felt lighter. It was like something that had been sitting on me for months finally broke. I started crying, not from fear, but from relief. For the first time in a long time, I felt free. The days after my deliverance were different. I woke up with peace. I slept through the night. The dreams stopped. The heaviness lifted. The confusion broke. I started hearing God again. I started feeling joy again. I started walking with authority again. People around me noticed. They said, "You look lighter. You look different. You look like yourself again." But I wasn't myself again. I was new. God didn't just restore me. He strengthened me. He sharpened me. He awakened me. I realized the enemy wasn't attacking me because I was weak. He was attacking me because I was dangerous. Here's what God taught me. The enemy attacks what he fears. Open doors matter. You can't fight spiritual battles with natural weapons. Authority only works when you use it. Deliverance is not a one-time event. It's a lifestyle. I learned to guard my gates. I learned to pray with authority. I learned to fast with purpose. I learned to recognize spiritual patterns. I learned that God never left me. I had just stopped listening. If you're watching this and you feel the heaviness, if you're having the dreams, if you're fighting battles you can't explain, you're not crazy. You're not weak. You're not alone. You're in a spiritual battle, but you serve a God who wins. So I pray that the same God who delivered me delivers you, strengthens you, restores you, and awakens the warrior inside of you. Your freedom is not far. Your breakthrough is not impossible. Your story is not over. And when God brings you out, tell your testimony, because somebody else's freedom is connected to your voice. Subscribe for more Spiritual Warfare Chronicles